the point at which everything that happens in the community, it comes to bear. And so if this government can deploy a security system that will start picking information that have been neglected, they will be able to pick up these things that are becoming like an albatross for the country. And therefore, I think yesterday's meeting was very gladdening, and it's very strengthening that the country may be on its way to securing security for the country in due course. This is my opinion about what happened yesterday, and I think the tempo should be sustained. The federal government has done that now. The state government should go back to their states and invite all stakeholders, everybody that's involved in the community, and it should be perpetual. It is not just reacting to an event, and then because the security has improved, people don't longer engage in their responsibilities. The primary responsibility of government is security of the people. And so we now have a problem at hand. At every level, I think, the governments must now perpetually engage itself in making sure that people live in peace. This peace must not also be negotiated in Abuja or in Kaduna or in the headquarters. We should go back to the community level, and these are some of the activities that maybe some of the agencies that have been charged with orientating the mentality of the people, because we've lost our ID for a long time now, and that's the other aspect I was saying, that we have a journey backwards. We must go back to become Nigerians again and know that the responsibility at every point is ours to manage. And that if it's happening with Mr. A, it could happen to you. And we have seen that from the time where we thought it was happening in the Niger Delta, it's not happening in the north, or it's the Northern Delta's problem. It's happening among the poor people. It's no longer. But we have seen today that parents of rich people, people in government have been kidnapped and so on and so forth. So it's going to be a overnight rain for everybody if we don't wake up to the responsibility that it's ours to really manage. And I just pray that everybody has a restraint and remain focused on the war, not on the battles that have been lost in any form that it has come.
Come in here. You've spoken about how this really gladdens your heart, and how this is a very good sign, the meeting of the governors, that is. And you've also touched a bit on what you expect the governors to do by holding meetings with stakeholders. But a lot of people fear that much as the governors are holding these meetings and presenting a united front, it might not exactly trickle down at the community level, especially with the 2015 elections so close. What is your take on that?
If I heard you right, I think that when we say you are the chief executive of a state and you're the chief security of a state, it behoves on you that every individual in that state is your responsibility to protect. There is no governor in any state in this country that does not have right and access to engaging at unit level, at ward level. The Constitution has even made it easier that this security thing between Christians and Muslims, ethnic settlers, and all sorts of things can continuously be engaged, can continuously be put in place. A platform can be generated for this thing, because we lost touch with ourselves. Everybody is talking about issues that have nothing to do with the daily returns of everybody. We're talking about federating units, emancipation and oppression and so on, when we are really oppressing ourselves. So I think the state governments have the utmost responsibility now to carry out the spirit of yesterday's meeting down to the unit level and ensure that this thing is continuous in a manner that eventually we can now have a template that will secure, will generate information that can now be used at every level to make sure that the country has a greater peace and opportunity to engage in other activities like the economic activities of the country.
Mr. Kiana, I don't know if you quite heard me, but my question was more about how this togetherness, this working together amongst political parties is going to be sustained ahead of the 2015 elections. I don't know if you understood that.
Okay, and I get you now. Exactly, this is what it is. Once you have a responsibility at any given point, whether it's a PDP-controlled state government or a APC-controlled state government or level-controlled government, the most important responsibility of the government in power is to ensure that the player from Party B plays the games according to the rules. And it means that he that is in control of the Party A, like for instance, if PDP is in government in Nasarawa State, it is the responsibility of the PDP government in Nasarawa State to ensure that anybody who is in APC and wants to participate or engage in economic political activities has the full right to be able to do that without hindrance in any form. If he wants to hold a rally and he goes to seek permission, he should be given permission. If the youth of APC want to carry out activities in any part of the state or any part of their local government, it is the responsibility of a PDP government in that state to ensure that he allows the police to be able to give them the permission to be able to do that. So it is the responsibility of the state government first and foremost to act in line that it cannot be held responsible for any distraction from another party that is being biased. So, and it's also in the interest of the government in power to know that if there is no peace, there will be no election. And therefore, I think that this can be carried out. The president has demonstrated it. He has brought everybody to board yesterday. And therefore, every state government should now go back and do the same thing, carry all parties along, all the stakeholders, wherever they come from. This is what I've said in a program like this before. Once there's a security problem, the government has a responsibility to call all stakeholders, whether both those who are being affected and those who they believe are being undermined, to come together and secure the locality first. If you don't secure the locality, there is no way you can have peace to be a governor in a state. And therefore, I think it's not a choice. It is a must that every governor must take the spirit of yesterday's meeting down to the grassroots.
Well, I think grassroots participation comes in question here because for Alhaji Othman, he's also talked about intelligence gathering. How can the people help out, being someone who's worked with the grassroots?
Pardon?
How can the people help in intelligence gathering in this whole development?
Well, you see, what usually happens at the grassroots level is that the information, the local government chairman should be on the alert that every information, no matter how irrelevant it may seem to you, it is the responsibility for you to pick it up immediately and convey it as a flash report to the appropriate authority. And it is very easy for the local government chairman to set out his own machineries. We did this. Hello?
We can hear you. Please go on.
Well, I was just saying that the local government chairman is in the context of the Nigerian system today.
Okay, all right. The meeting, which is very, very key and important because we have actually seen a whole lot happening, not only within that region, but outside the region, comments and statements from people that is actually, well, instead of bringing everyone together that you want to call uniting us, has actually further divided us. And you say, well, people from all divide should cease forthwith. How can that be? Because this is just not the first time. People have actually made statements and comments asking people to be a little bit careful the way they dropped comments.
Well, there is an end to every game plan. You know, maybe before now, people have believed that they can always pass the ball to the next person that is a soft target for them. But the chickens have come home to roost now, as they say, because even when I keep dodging my responsibilities, it has come to my front and that the responsibility is right in front of me. If, for instance, if I'm a locally based person and I go to my farm and I see somebody stealing somebody's farm and I don't report that matter to the village head, and when I'm coming to the farm the following day and I see the same thieves on my farm, it is because of my failure not to have reported that event before to the traditional head in the previous day. And so if the government becomes now conscious of this responsibility and reawakens the system and brings back the traditional values we've had to encourage community living, community engagement and ways of solving problems, we will now begin to have a very That's why I've always been a supporter of having a role for the traditional rulers in this country. Because the attitude we generally have about democracy is that it must be in the copycat version of the American system or the British system and so on. No, this is Africa, this is Nigeria. And the country is evolving. We are not yet organic in our relationship. All the structures we have today are mechanical, are created by fiats of decrees. So as we move along, if you remember, the local government system seems to be the most organic structure we have. And so if you encourage its existence and give it enough push, it will be able to have the strength to carry the country to its future. So this can be done by allowing the values that are uppermost in the minds of the people to improve, because they have been derobed. The local government system and the traditional system have been derobed of their values.